Imagine a home where laughter once lived, where a father's joy filled the walls, where his daughter twirled in his arms as he promised her the world. She was his light, a bright, innocent soul who believed love was unconditional. But life has a way of shifting the course when we least expect it. Her father remarried, hoping to rebuild, hoping to fill the emptiness left by tragedy. He believed that with a new wife, his daughter would gain a second mother, another heart to love her as deeply as he did. But for some hearts, love has conditions, boundaries, and walls built too high for an innocent child to climb. When the little girl fell ill, when doctors delivered a diagnosis that meant long treatment, medical bills, and sleepless nights, that stepmother saw not a child to protect, but a burden to carry. And instead of rising, she chose to walk away. The father thought love would convince his new wife to stay. He pleaded, he reasoned, he begged her to see the child for the angel she truly was. But selfishness can harden a soul, and the stepmother's mind was already made up. She wanted a life unfettered by hospitals, untouched by pain, a life free from responsibility that did not directly benefit her. The world was full of opportunities for her, parties, gatherings, admiration, and none of those came from sacrificing herself for a sick little girl. So one day, she drew a line that no child should ever face. She told the father that the girl could not go with them on a family trip. She insisted the girl stay behind, weak, feverish, alone, because she didn't want the inconvenience. The father was torn apart, trapped between the love he had vowed to his wife and the love he naturally had for his daughter. But the stepmother's influence, her manipulations, her threats, they clouded his judgment. And in his greatest mistake, he allowed her to lead him away, leaving the child behind with only a blanket, a glass of water, and a hope that he would return soon. The girl watched the door close, confusion in her eyes. She wondered if she had done something wrong. Was she too slow, too sick, too needy? Why didn't the people she loved want her by their side? Tears rolled down her cheeks, not because she was afraid of being alone, but because she feared she was becoming invisible in the eyes of those she loved most. But fate has a way of stepping in when human hearts fail. Hours passed. Her breathing became more difficult, her fever rising. She tried to reach the phone, but her tiny hands trembled. Her voice was too weak to call for help. Darkness faded in and out as she lay there waiting for someone, anyone, to remember her. And someone did. The neighbor, an elderly woman, noticed something unusual. She had not seen the girl playing in the yard, her usual safe haven. Concern grew inside her like a storm brewing. She knocked on the door, no answer. She called out the girl's name, silence. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. With fear rushing through her veins, she called for help. Emergency responders broke through the door and found the little girl barely conscious, her tiny life slipping through their fingers. They rushed her to the hospital, sirens crying the tears she could no longer shed. Doctors fought the battle she was too small to fight alone. Machines hummed like distant angels, pushing air into her fragile lungs, delivering life she had almost been denied. Her father returned home to a nightmare he had helped create. The police waited for him, their expressions stern. Reality hit him like a tidal wave. His child, his innocent girl, had nearly died because he failed to protect her. His knees buckled under the crushing weight of his guilt. He raced to the hospital, his heart torn between hope and despair, praying he wasn't too late. When he saw her, pale, still, wired to monitors, he broke. He cried the tears he should have cried long before. He begged her for forgiveness though she could not hear him. He whispered promises he should have kept from the beginning. And in that moment, he finally realized, being a father isn't just about love, it's about courage. It's about standing up even when the world pushes back. It's about choosing your child above all else, no matter the cost. When the girl finally opened her eyes, weak but alive, she saw her father first, a broken man desperately clinging to her hand. She did not yell. She did not push him away. She simply squeezed his fingers gently, as if to remind him that even after all the pain, she still loved him. Children love without limits. They forgive without hesitation. Their hearts remain pure long after adults have tainted theirs. The father made a decision that day, a decision that should have never needed such a tragedy to awaken. The stepmother, who showed up only when attention was on her, was confronted. Her excuses were shallow, her tears fake, her heart cold. She was cast out, her true nature exposed for everyone to see. She had thought leaving the sick girl behind would give her a better life, but instead, it revealed her as a woman unworthy of the family she tried to claim. The girl's recovery was slow, filled with long nights and difficult treatments. But her father stayed. He learned to braid her hair, to read her bedtime stories, to sit beside her bed and hold her hand until she fell asleep. He fought with her, cried with her, laughed with her. He became the father he had always meant to be, the father she always deserved. Over time, the girl regained her strength, not only physically but emotionally. She learned that her value wasn't measured by her health or perfection. She learned that love exists, even when flawed humans fail to show it. She learned that she was stronger than abandonment, stronger than illness, stronger than betrayal. Her story spread. People heard about the brave little girl who survived heartbreak and neglect. They heard about the stepmother who chose selfishness over compassion. And slowly, society began to understand a message too often forgotten. The true test of character is not how we treat the strong, but how we care for the weak. Every child deserves a protector. Every child deserves to feel wanted. Every child deserves unconditional love. The girl taught that to the world without ever giving a speech. Her breath, each one she fought for, was her message. Her survival was her victory. She showed that even when abandoned, a child's potential is limitless when someone finally chooses to fight for them. As she grew older, she turned her pain into purpose. She decided that no other child should feel the fear she once felt. She became a voice for those who could not speak for themselves, the neglected, the forgotten, the invisible. She advocated for children's rights, she visited hospitals, she held the hands of the sick just as she once wished someone had done for her. She chose to respond to cruelty not with resentment but with compassion. The stepmother faded into obscurity, a shadow trying to hide from the consequences of her heartless actions. But the girl, once left behind, moved forward with a heart bigger than all the world's indifference. And what of the father? Guilt stayed with him, a reminder of what complacency can cost. But he rebuilt trust one day at a time. He earned his redemption not through words but through unwavering presence. Because love, real love, the kind that protects, sacrifices, and never abandons, is proven through action. Their bond grew unbreakable, not because life was easy, but because they confronted its harshest lesson and came out stronger on the other side. Today, when that girl stands before others, she stands as proof that a child's worth does not diminish because they are sick, or imperfect, or different. She stands as a reminder that even if someone leaves you behind, you can rise, not despite the pain, but because of it. Her story calls upon all of us to look deeper, to love harder, to notice the child who sits alone, to defend the one who is weakest, to never turn our backs when someone needs us most. Because the true measure of humanity is how we treat those who rely on us to survive. So, let this story teach us. Do not be the stepmother who walks away. Be the neighbor who pays attention. Be the father who learns and grows. Be the hand that lifts up a child left behind. If we do that, if we choose compassion over convenience, love over selfishness, we create a world where every child feels seen, valued, and safe. A world where no one is ever left behind simply because they need help. And to the girl who was once forgotten, may she always remember this truth. She was not left behind because she was unlovable. She was left behind because someone else failed to love.